Thank you for joining me on a Sunday morning walk. I wanted to get out before it got too hot. I don't cope very well with walking in the heat. And I've come to this row of trees that has always been something that I've admired. Cherry. And when it's in blossom, when they are in blossom, absolutely gorgeous. And now they're in fruit. Now I have no idea whether they're an ornamental fruit or a fruit that is edible for humans as well as birds. Whatever. There's a lot on. They're obviously enjoying the weather. But of course, as ever, my mind was taken to times past. My dad, he had a small insurance policy mature. And he said, right, I want to take us away on holiday. So that would be 5 of us, my dad, my husband and my 2 sons and myself. He said, let's go somewhere abroad. Okay, for him that was a huge thing. So we said, well, how about the south of France? Yes, that would be lovely. So that's what happened. But then he said, I want to give half of the money to church. Okay. Bear in mind that by this time my dad was not very sure of how much things cost, especially things like holidays. So we said that will be fine. How about you pay for the apartment and we pay for the petrol, the food, getting us across the channel, everything else. Yeah, that's good. We can do that. So off we went rejoicing. And at the time we had an old Rover car. And we circuited Paris and went a bit further south, stopped the night, and lo and behold, the windscreen smashed. So you try and explain that when your French is limited. But we were told that we had to go back to Paris. That would be the only place that we would be able to get a replacement windscreen. So back north we went. And yep, we eventually, having gone round the peripherique at rush hour with flies coming in the windscreen whenever we slowed in, where the windscreen used to be, whenever we slowed down. It was interesting. The garage were really helpful, and they happened to have the exact same car as ours for sale on their courtyard. And they, bless them, took the windscreen out of there and put it into our car. Job was good enough, we went. The rest of the journey was uneventful. I'm just going to stop. There are people coming up behind. I will continue with the rest of the journey when they've gone by. Okay, the people and their dogs have passed me by, so I can continue. The apartment was lovely, and there was a pool. The boys were fine, and my dad could sit next to it sketching, so he was happy. And we went shopping one day to a market, and lots of lovely local cheeses and some lovely cherries. See, you knew there was a purpose for me talking about cherries at the beginning. I get there eventually. So, my husband and myself sat on one of those swinging benches on the veranda when my dad and the boys had gone to bed, eating these cherries in the dark. I said, come on, we've got to save some for them for breakfast in the morning. So, as I go through the kissing gate, at least they're not styles here. I have negotiated 3 styles already this morning. There we are, sorted. So we saved some of the cherries, popped them in the fridge. And at breakfast next morning, my dad took a bite of one and he said, ugh! And it was riddled with maggots. So we prized open the rest, and every single one was filled with maggots. So at that point came the realization, chances are that we would not have isolated all of the maggot-free ones and eaten them last night. The probability was that they also were filled with maggots, which would explain why we kept saying, they're so juicy. No tummy upsets. So obviously the protein of the maggots did us no harm. But now, if ever I have cherries, and I sat and ate a bowl of them last night, but I always take a little bite and check. Yes, cautious as ever, but once bitten, twice shy. Thank you for joining me. Take care. Bye for now. And if you're tempted to have any of those cherries, just check. Bye for now. Bye.